President Xi Jinping, dear friends. First of all, I would like to join colleagues in highly appreciating the work carried out by the Chinese side during its chairmanship of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. This year is special for all our countries. On May 9th in Moscow, we solemnly mark the anniversary of the victory in the Great Patriotic War and the defeat of Nazi Germany. The day after tomorrow in Beijing, large-scale events will be held to commemorate the victory over Japanese militarism and the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II. Breaking Nazism and militarism was achieved thanks to the unity of peoples of many countries around the world. Following the result of World War II, the United Nations was created, which this year also marks its 80th anniversary. Its charter included key principles: the primacy of international law, the right of nations to self-determination, sovereign equality, non-interference in internal affairs, respect for the independence and national interests of every state. These principles remain correct and unshakable to this day. It is precisely on these that the Shanghai Cooperation Organization builds its weight, uniting like-minded members committed to ideas of building a just multipolar world order. For this session of the Council of Heads of State, a solid package of documents has been prepared. The main document, the Tianjin Declaration, reflects the coordinated approaches of the member states to pressing issues on the global and regional agenda. Of course, I highlight the SCO Development Strategy 2035, which determines the main directions of the SCO's work in politics, economics, security, and the humanitarian sphere. Rates of cooperation within the SCO are truly impressive. For example, the average GDP growth of member countries last year exceeded 5%. Industrial output grew by 4.6%. Mutual trade is growing steadily, all above global averages. The use of national currencies in settlements is spreading. We advocate for the issue of joint bonds by member states, for the creation of our own payment and settlement as well as depository infrastructure, and for the formation of a bank of joint investment projects. All this will increase the efficiency of our economic ties and insulate them from external market fluctuations. Transport infrastructure within the SCO is expanding impressively. Road, rail, and multimodal shipments are growing, and customs interaction is becoming closer. Electronic document flow is being actively implemented. The Strategy for Energy Cooperation to 2030, which we approved last year, is now fully underway. Today, we are adopting a targeted roadmap to conduct coordinated and balanced energy policies for the entire SCO area. As many colleagues have noted, connections among our organization's participants are expanding in science, education, healthcare, environment, sports, and youth exchanges. The SCO University now brings together 77 universities from our countries. Distinguished colleagues, our organization is consistently increasing its influence in addressing key international issues, serving as a powerful engine of global development processes and real multilateralism. The SCO makes a significant contribution to strengthening the atmosphere of cooperation and trust throughout the Eurasian continent. It helps lay the political and socio-economic foundations for forming in Eurasia a new system of stability, security, and peaceful development, a system that would replace outdated Eurocentric and Euro-Atlantic models and take into account the interests of as many countries as possible, remaining truly balanced and excluding any attempts by some states to ensure their own security at the expense of others. On the Ukraine crisis, I want to emphasize, such approaches guide Russia's view of the situation. I remind you that the crisis did not arrive from Russia attacking Ukraine, but from a coup d'etat in Ukraine, supported and provoked by the West, followed by an attempt to use military force to suppress those regions and people in Ukraine who rejected or did not accept the coup. A second reason for the crisis lies in constant Western efforts to draw Ukraine into NATO, which, as we have repeatedly and consistently stated for many years, directly threatens Russia's security. The 2014 coup in Ukraine removed the country's political leadership that opposed NATO entry. In this context, we greatly appreciate the efforts and proposals of China, India, and other strategic partners to help resolve the Ukrainian crisis. I note, too, the understandings reached at the recent Russian-American summit in Alaska, which, I hope, work in this direction, opening a path to peace in Ukraine. During today's and tomorrow's bilateral meetings, I will, of course, brief colleagues in more detail about the outcome of the negotiations in Alaska. Yesterday, over lunch provided for the SCO participants, I already held a detailed conversation with President Xi Jinping on these results and our agreements with the U.S. President. For Ukrainian settlement to be long-lasting, the root causes must be addressed and a fair balance and security restored. One of the SCO's top priorities is to maintain stability both in member states and along external borders. Russia supports the draft SCO program to counter extremism through 2030 and stands ready to participate in implementing this document. Also important are today's agreements establishing in Tashkent a universal SCO center to respond to contemporary challenges and threats, and opening in Dushanbe a dedicated anti-narcotic center, which we expect to be operational soon. In conclusion, I thank our Chinese friend for organizing a highly productive meeting. I am confident the issues and agreements reached here in Tianjin will be thoroughly examined at the SCO Heads of Government Council meeting in November in Moscow. We look forward to welcoming delegations from all your countries. Finally, I wish every success to President Sadir Japarov of Kyrgyzstan and our KYRGYZ colleagues who shall assume the chairmanship of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Thank you for your attention.
China's having a massive military parade that President Putin and Kim Jong-un will be attending. Do you interpret that as a challenge to this? And are you concerned at all about those countries trying to be some sort of counterweight?
Not at all. China needs us, and I have a very good relationship with President Xi, as you know, but China needs us much more than we need them. No, I don't see that at all, no. And I had actually a very good meeting with President Putin a couple of weeks ago. We'll see if anything comes out of it. If it doesn't, we'll take a different stand.
Have you spoken with President Putin in the past week? Have you spoken with President Putin?
Yeah, I don't want to. I have learned things that will be very interesting. I think in the next few days you'll find out.
Will there be any consequences if there isn't some type of announcement of a meeting with President Putin and President Zelensky?
Yeah, there will be. We're going to see what happens. We're going to see what they do and what happens. I'm watching it very closely. Last week they lost 7,000 between the two countries. 7,313 soldiers, to be somewhat exact, for no reason whatsoever. And they're Russian and they're Ukrainian, but, you know, they're soldiers. I want to see it end.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले.
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.